Tiffany Haynes here. Thank you for joining my live today. And so I am going to go back to the basics because I am starting to get questions about the potential of somebody being a real estate virtual assistant. Okay. I'm starting to get a lot of questions on it. And so I really want to kind of go back to the basics of what this industry, first of all, can be for you and answer some simple questions for you. So, one of the biggest questions I get is, what is a real estate transaction coordinator? Okay. What is a real estate transaction coordinator? And what I'm doing is I'm gonna let you get a peek, okay, behind the curtain of my masterclass, and I'm gonna share a clip from my masterclass. Well, it's a present part of that presentation that I do. I'm going to do it live for you tonight, but I'm going to share a part of that presentation that I do that really explains what is a transaction coordinator so that you know exactly what it is. So here we go. Let's get into it. So here's a clip from that presentation, or here's a piece of that presentation. All right. So the very first thing I want you to understand is, as a real estate agent, the transaction coordinator service that a real estate virtual assistant offers is the premier service. There are very few real estate agents on the planet that don't find this service to be the most valued investment of their career. Okay. I want you to hear that like bells in your head over and over again. The most valued investment of their career. If you ask any real estate agent, even if they don't have one yet, okay, this is the good part. Even if they don't have one yet, if you tell them, okay, what would this mean to you to be able to have this service and have it by somebody that you trust and somebody that can truly take this off of your plate where you can now focus on other things, I promise you, their eyes would light up. Okay, they would be so excited of the potential of that. So it is the most valued investment of their career. Okay. And so here's what I do. Here's what the company that I've had for close to a decade. We celebrate our 10-year anniversary in the spring of 2024. So I've had it close to a decade. Here's what I do, but the best way to understand it is for me to go back and explain the process from a real estate agent's perspective so you can see how you can apply it to you as a transaction coordinator. So look here, okay? Full illustration for y'all. You're welcome, all right? Full illustration for you. So here's a real estate agent. This is Glenda. Say hi, Glenda. Hey, girl. How you doing, girl? So she's out here working, okay? She's with Chris and Sarah Thompson. And she is showing them houses because they are buyers and they're looking for a home. And after showing several homes and finally locking in on one and getting a seller to commit, Galinda now, okay, has them under contract. That means that they have attached this buyer to a seller, and now this home is under contract. Now, the very next thing Glenda has to do after she gets this home under contract is a whole task list is now deposited in her head. All right, she's got to submit this contract to the title company. She's got to make sure the clients have a copy of the final contract. Is the inspection scheduled? Let's put dates on their calendar so they don't forget anything. All of the things, right? The remediations coming up for any repairs that the potential buyer would want to make, uploading her documents into her software so that she can be paid at the end of this process. All of the things, help transfer utilities, ensure the title and all these important documents are received. This is the entire task list that Glenda now has to do. The problem is, okay, that Glenda has a lot going on. So this is just stressing Glenda out. You say, why is it stressing Glenda out? Because Glenda also has a family, okay? And so tonight she wanted to spend some time with her family. And then the very next day, she has some out of town buyers coming in. You can't even see them. Let me move myself out of the way. She has some out of town buyers coming in, and she wants to be able to focus on them, spend some time with them, and ensure that they can find a home. And because of that, this causes a lot of stress for Glenda. Okay. But Glenda has an idea. All right. But here's where you come in. Glenda has an idea. What if I took this task list, right, that is sitting on my desk? And what if I transferred this task list over to a transaction coordinator? This transaction coordinator, who will charge $350. That's how much Glenda would have to pay the transaction coordinator. I put you there because this is something that anybody can do with a little training, right? A little coaching. You can charge $350, and you basically take the administrative task list you extract it out of the real estate process for the agent, and you handle that on behalf of the real estate agent. Okay. The beautiful part of this is now that you have been implemented into the process, it removes the stress from Glenda. Because now when Glenda goes back to what her process now is now she can be right here. She's going to be able to spend time with her family. She's going to go out with that out of town buyers that are coming in. She's going to get them under contract, and she's going to send that contract to you to do the administrative part, so she can go back to spending some time with her family, and she can go back to being out with more buyers or sellers, right? So you being entered into the process is now removing that stress right here where you see her. It's removing that stress and burden off of Glenda. And you say, Tiff, this is pretty cool. You've had your business for 10 years. Sure have. Let me tell you how. Okay. Let me tell you how, because Glenda, all right, she's going to tell Brad. Okay. Because she's been declining coffee dates with Brad for I don't know how long. So she's finally out with Brad because she's been so busy and boggled down. And Brad said, well, you sure seem got a little pep in your step. Finally said yes to having coffee. And she said, yeah, I got a transaction coordinator. So instead of me spending my mornings in the thick of all of the paperwork, I have now transferred that over to somebody else. And now I have a little bit more free time to meet with you, to meet with more clients, to actually nurture my list and get some more buyers and sellers out of people that I've learned and that I've grown to know over the years. She's able to make more money. Okay, let's just get to the thick of it. She's able to make more money. And Brad said, well, don't hold out on your boy. Okay, share their contact information. And so Brad shares their contact information. And what happens? Brad calls you, and you make what? Some more money. Okay, you make more money. This is exactly what happened when I built my business. My first set of clients came from me securing one client and then them sending out referrals. And you say, okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Let me continue. Okay, I told you 10 years in the business, multiple six figures a year. This is how it went down. Okay, so Brad gets to talking. Brad's talking and all of his friends. And one of his friends happens to be someone that has what? A whole team. Okay, so Brad knows Mark. Mark has a whole team. And when Mark gives you a call, now your income has quadrupled from one phone call, from one referral, from a domino effect of two referrals, from Glenda converting Brad to Brad converting Mark, and Mark giving you a call, and Mark coming with the whole team. What you have to understand is a whole team comes with multiple contracts. And depending on how you structure it, depending on what you can work out with Mark, you can say, hey, well, we want to manage the contracts for your entire team. Right. And so that's what we did over the years. This is what compounded our business and grew our business to just make tremendous impact in the marketplace. And so let me show you what that looks like. I want to kind of show you the numbers so you can visualize it. So now you have Glenda. Now you have Mark. Now you got Mark's friends. And now, you have Glenda, you have Brad, you have Brad's friends, and now you have Mark and his whole team. And so where you were charging $350 for a file, and Glenda might send a few files a month your way, because of this domino effect of referrals that you received, you now are closing about 30 contracts in a month. 30 contracts in a month. Don't switch away from this app to pull out your calculator. I'm going to tell you exactly how much that is. $10,500 a month from working the contracts of Glenda, working the contracts of Brad, Brad's friends, and Mark and his team, right? And so one of the things that I realized when I was doing this, and I'm just I'm showing you the trajectory of how we got to multiple six figures, how anybody that can fall in line with this can do the same, is I noticed that handling all of these clients on my own was a lot of work. And I myself had an idea. And my idea was I wanted to hire somebody else to assist me, right? And I was willing to part with some of the money per file so that I could hire somebody. And that's exactly what I did. I had my first hire as a transaction coordinator. I was able to transition to them about 25 contracts a month. Once I did that, I'm still getting referrals. I'm still getting clients coming through the door. I said, I think I need to hire somebody else. Now I got 2 TCs. I think I need to hire more people. Now I got 4 TCs. I think I need to, and it just kept compounding till we had about 4 TC strong a few years into the business, and we were managing about 100 contracts in a month. You don't have to leave this app to go to your calculator. I'll tell you just how much that is. $35,000 in a month is what we averaged in, and we have been able to maintain that average over the years, to the point where we now say, hey, we only take clients on seasonal basis. We don't even take clients all the time, because we're constantly making sure we have stabilized the TCs and we can be good stewards over the clients that we have already. And so this is just a little snippet of what I teach in my masterclass to really get people the visual of what it looks like. And I post my receipts. Okay, so nobody can play with me. I post my receipts right there in the masterclass, so you can see this is what we generate. And this was year over year over year. I ended up pulling different months and different years so people could kind of see just the variety of the consistency of this business. And so once I did that, and I say this because you can do the same, once I started to hire and I was able to step into the role, I was able to step out of the role of the transaction coordinator and into the role of the CEO. This is where I begin to really see the ease of entrepreneurship. This is where I begin to really see how I could be an entrepreneur and not have all of my time taken away. Because a lot of times what we experience is we become entrepreneurs, and now all of a sudden we actually just went from one job to having another job. We actually went from being an employee for a Fortune 500 company to being an employee of our own company. And it doesn't feel like anything different. If anything, it's more stress, because you have the stress of running your company, working in your company, working on your company. And so once I was able to hire transaction coordinators, have them work under me, hire managers, and really layer my company out, I was able to do this and have this company with a lot more ease than I did when I first started, right? But it took time. It took time. It took bumping my head 1,000 times. And that's the reason why I do Masterclass, so that you now can not have to go through all of that, and you can learn from me. So I wanted to at least just give you a glimpse, because most people don't even know what a transaction coordinator is. The best way to understand that is for me to walk you through with that visual that I do for everybody. Okay. It is the coolest visual. After everybody sees that, like, I get it, right? You're taking the paperwork off of the agent's desk, you're putting it on your desk, you're charging a small fee, and then you can duplicate that over multiple agents. All right. Real estate is the most lucrative industry in the world, at least one of the most lucrative industry. I think transportation is number one. So real estate being the most lucrative industry, you really can find a sector in a lucrative industry. And one of the things I teach in the masterclass is, how do you now treat that client well? How do you now get a client and never lose a client? How do you now get a client and then steward them so well they don't want to leave? I'm telling you, this is when you really get to see the excess in revenue in this business. And this is something that anybody with a proper training can jump in and do. So answered your question. All right. It's a great question. I get it all the time. I answer it thoroughly in the masterclass, but it was very fun to do it for you here on YouTube. If you want to check out the masterclass for yourself, please. Okay. It's free. Tiffany'sMasterclass.com. You can go there and enjoy the masterclass, so that you can see if there's something you want to get into, or just learn more about it. Some people are just curious. They want to learn more about this industry to see if maybe this is even good for somebody they know, a family member, or a child that you might have that hasn't quite found their footing. They like to work behind the scenes. This is a great behind the scenes company that I actually scale without social media. And I talk about that as well on the masterclass. I talk about the 6L marketing method, where I scaled this company really without having to really put myself out there on social media. I didn't start doing that until I start teaching other people how to be able to start, scale, and sustain this business. So again, Tiffany Haynes here. It's been great once again. Tiffany's Masterclass if you want more information. I'll talk to you soon.